This morning, I had every intention of waking up at 5 o'clock when Wade does his essentially kind of last night-ish feed, and I was just exhausted. I really didn't want to wake up, and I told myself that I needed rest. But honestly, I should have gone to bed before 11 o'clock last night, and I would have felt a lot better. And so, really, it was no excuse to not wake up at 5 because it was my fault that I was so tired. Um, it really got me thinking back to how far I've come since and like what I've done before to have success in getting in shape and losing weight and everything. The first time, honestly, growing up, I didn't even really think about weight. Even in high school, when all the other girls were worried, it didn't really occur to me to even think about it. I probably didn't even weigh myself unless I was at a doctor's appointment and a checkup. But after I had this one, I had gained a fair amount of weight, and so I needed to get healthy, and just always thought about like when he got old enough to run around and all of that stuff. I just kept thinking like how hard it was just to like get up off the floor. I was 50 pounds over what I was when I started, and I wasn't overweight when I got pregnant, but I definitely wasn't at like my optimal health either. So just going up the stairs and things like that were so much harder than they were before. And I just kept thinking that if they kept being that difficult, it was going to be so hard to keep up with him. And so, I made every excuse in the book. I told myself, oh, my body's just I'm breastfeeding, and so my body's just hanging on to this weight. But really, I wasn't doing anything in the first place. I just thought that once I had him, because I was breastfeeding, that it was just going to fall off. And that's just how it was going to be because that's what so many people had told me. But the thing is, you actually have to do something. You actually have to make a conscious choice to make healthy choices. I was eating Thai food and fast food and all of that stuff all the time. I really had no concept of nutrition and how much of proteins or anything like that. Like, I really wasn't clued into any of that. And so finally, he was born in May, and in December, I decided that at the new year, I was going to get on this, and I was going to get started. And I just heard that a lot of people had a lot of success with Weight Watchers, and so I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And honestly, it was like 3 days before the new year, and it was the weekend, and I didn't want to have to like go shopping for special food or anything like that. I just wanted to get started. And so I did. I got my membership started with Weight Watchers, and January 1st, I got started, and I just kind of learned as I went. And I'll be honest, I purely did the food. I told myself, once I lose 10 pounds, I'll get started with the exercise. Once I lose 15 pounds, I'll get started with the exercise. And eventually I did. Luckily, we had a treadmill in where we were staying, and so once he went to bed, I would just walk. Like, that was it. I walked. And I would also read at the same time. And eventually I did. I lost all of the weight. I lost all 50 pounds. And I remember one night, I must have still had another 15 pounds to go. And I remember one night I was just thinking, because I had a lot of self-improvement to do at that point, and I didn't have a lot of confidence either, but I knew that I was losing weight, but I was so uncomfortable when people pointed out that, oh my gosh, you're looking great, all of that. I was so uncomfortable with it. I really hated the attention. And then one night, I realized that it was just like a thought that popped in my head, and I just thought, I love myself right now for what I'm doing. I have stuck to this. I have been consistent about eating right and learning about the nutrition and really sticking to it, even in the harder scenarios, just sticking to what I wanted. And what got me there was just anytime I really wanted to stop or cut my walks short, or push that incline down because I was increasing the incline as I went to increase the intensity. I kept thinking of running around with my little boy, and I just kept thinking of that, and it kept me going. And I had that time where I just thought, man, I really love myself for what I'm doing. And honestly, I had never ever thought I love myself. And it was just kind of an epiphany that I just started crying. I was in the middle of a walk and I just started crying because I realized I truly did love myself for taking care of myself. And that was not what I was going for when I originally said, I want to lose weight. I want to, feel better about myself. But it was a result that made a bigger impact in my life than just losing the weight did. It made a huge impact in my life, and I've kept going with it. And now I'm doing Beachbody, and I really needed more of a challenge than Weight Watchers was giving me at that point. They helped me, lose that initial weight and kind of get started with the nutrition, and it was great for that. But I needed more. I needed to know more about it. I needed to have more specific. I needed even better nutrition, and I needed those workouts too. And now, even when I feel bad about myself and I'm like, oh, I still have, 20 pounds to go with this after this pregnancy. I'm 6 weeks out. That's just fine. And I just think how far I've come. I don't have 50 pounds to lose like I did last time. I have 20, and that's completely reasonable. So sometimes you just really have to think back and think, how far have I come already? Give yourself credit for it. And honestly, my husband will tell you, I'm pretty horrendous at giving myself credit for just about anything. But this is one thing I really have to think back and just know that I've come a really, really long way, and the effort I've put in has really been worth it. So I need to give myself credit for that, because once you give yourself credit for that, you're going to feel better and you're going to want to do more. So please give yourself credit, and I promise you will feel better if you just give yourself credit for what you're doing and realize that a lot of the excuses you're probably making for yourself are just, you're probably making it worse than it is. Just make it a priority. Like, I love cleaning. Love cleaning. I don't know why. And I always put that in the morning because that's when I have the most energy. It's first thing in the morning. I'm a morning person. And so I would always put my cleaning first thing in the morning. Ouch. And I really had to restructure my day to putting health and school for Braden here and putting that stuff first thing in the morning when I have that energy, because it's a higher priority than keeping the house spotless. And I had to realize that, and it's hard for me because the house is no longer exactly how I would like it all the time, but I no longer have that excuse of I just don't have time. I do have time because I found my priorities and I put them in order. And I have the motivation, just like I did back when I was doing Weight Watchers and on that treadmill and realizing that it was hard and, to keep going. This summer, I want to be able to run around with my boys and my husband. I want to keep up with all of them. I may not be a single mom anymore. I may have help. I may be able to do all of that. but I want to be able to keep up with them. I want to run around and I want to go on bike rides. I want to go swimming with them. I want to go do all those things, and I want to do them with the most amount of energy, and I want to have fun with it. With them. I want to really enjoy it, and I know to really enjoy it, I need to be in better shape than I am now. I'm not in terrible shape, but I want to be in better shape, and I know if I'm not thinking about how I look or being to cover up my legs, I want to get my legs toned up. If I'm not thinking about that, I'm going to have more fun. I'm going to be more relaxed, and I'm just going to enjoy it. So please, if you need help, finding that thing that really drives you, that thought, come talk to me. Feel free. Message me, comment me at Courtney Ellison Fitness on Facebook. Come find me, and I will help you find that thing that you can think of that is just going to drive you through. It may not be that bikini body. It may not be, what you initially think it is. It may be that feeling of that image in your mind of maybe mountain biking. It may be something you've never done before, but in your head, if you imagine what that is, just like I imagined way back then, running around with my little boy. It had never happened before because he was still really little, but that image kept me going, and I can help you find that image too. I hope you all have a great day and you find that motivation. And if you don't, please feel free and come talk to me because I will help you find it. Thanks.